It seems like an infinite like glitch to just like make money. I mean,
this is actually an interesting solve, especially if you're only renting it for less than $200 for a day.
Kind of reminds me of the whole booming world of live shopping right now.
It's the Viral Ideas Podcast with Josh and Runda.
This is the Viral Ideas Podcast. My name is Runda, and this is Josh. And we're just pretty much two guys that thought we might as well just start a podcast because we're just coming up ideas all the time. And we would just like talk for hours and hours, and we might just create some content out of it. And if anyone is listening to this and want to pursue on any of the ideas, DM us, or we will try to find you if you take one of our ideas.
Yeah, I'm on board with that. Yeah, as Runda said, we talk way too much about random ideas that we just realized there's absolutely no physically possible way that we could be doing all of them. So why not put them out into the world? And yeah, here we are. So I started a video production company about 4 years ago. Started out mostly doing music videos. Was working with two other business partners. Their name are Josh and Phil. You should follow them on LinkedIn. They're pretty cool. Basically, we started doing music videos, and then we found out that making music videos is really hard to make money. But if you're good at making music videos, you can also make really good commercials. So yeah, that's what I do. Maybe you should tell us a little bit about your background.
I'm not sure if like my background is as interesting as yours, but pretty much worked in the advertising industry for over 6 years in the creative departments. And my profession was literally coming up with random ideas all the time. And after working in the corporate side, I decided to go independent. And within this independent creative consultancy framework, I also want to start to build interesting companies or private startups that are just interesting to pursue. And then now I'm just also coming up with random startup ideas as well.
Yeah, I feel like you might have downplayed a little bit of, I think, 7 or 8 years of ad agency experience. And he's worked on a lot of really crazy brands. Should definitely look up his portfolio. This guy's a heavy hitter. Anyways, I feel like we're kind of ready to just get into, the meat of all of this. And we're basically just we're gonna talk about some different viral ideas that we have cooked up right now and we want to share. And I think you had the first one. It was mobile fun box. Have absolutely no idea what you meant by that. But yeah, tell me about it.
Yeah. So that one Instagram Reels video that you showed me a couple months back. So it's literally a bunch of kids stuffed inside a trailer in front of a house playing Mario Bros.
Right. Yeah. Okay. I remember this. Yeah.
Yeah. That whole entire business kind of like intrigued me because when we thought about just getting a trailer stuffed, equipped it with like a mobile generator, and then have the entire thing power video games inside to have your kids. If you're a family, this would be great. If you have like 4 kids and up, the house can be pretty noisy. But if you were to just like order this mobile fun box or like this trailer.
Wait, are you saying a mobile fun box for rent or for sale?
Rent.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
So if this family kind of ordered, I'm not sure if like they ordered it or they just rigged up their own mobile fun box, but either way, like it's such a big need for all parents that has either like play days with these kids that are playing video games in a basement and just facing all these screaming in their basement. This is actually an interesting solve, especially if you're only renting it for less than $200 for a day or 2 days even. Yeah. And all you have to do is just like set it up. Equip the entire mobile trailer with all your video game consoles and maybe a generator.
Maybe the internet might be a challenge.
Yes. I guess if you were close enough to the house, then maybe you're able to get the Wi-Fi, but you could potentially get like a very long internet cable.
It's an upsell, if anything.
Yeah.
If anything, I think immediately where my head goes is Fortnite. Lots of people play Fortnite. Like, don't look at me like I'm too crazy for playing it, but a lot of people want to play it with their friends, but like if you wanted to play Fortnite in the same room as your friends, then you would have to get like, if it's 5 friends, you need 5 consoles, you know, so you need 5 PlayStations sitting there. Like no one's gonna do that, it's too much. But like, I mean, hey, for a kid's birthday party, that could be crazy. There's so many ways that could go, honestly.
And then I mean, internet might not even be needed, because you could potentially have LAN parties within these mobile fun box. So like, I think the easiest way to kind of like create this is you might not even need to own these trailers or have these starting capital to create these trailers. You can get someone else do it and just create a platform that's the Uber of these mobile fun boxes. And it could be like a trailer equipped with these game consoles, and then a trailer with maybe like a backyard movie setup that's just like equipped it with all those stuff. And then you just drop off in front of someone's house when they order it. And if it comes in an app or just like a e-commerce web app setup, that's just like a simple platform that you can then try to sell or like pitch to other independent people that wants to start their own business, and then just hop on the platform.
Yeah, it's a very niche, like containerized entertainment. Actually, I think I might have been listening to, it must have been a Greg Eisenberg podcast or something. But he had some guy on that was talking about just the power of nostalgia. I'm a huge believer in the power of nostalgia. Like I feel it seems like an infinite like glitch to just like make money. I mean, like, so think about how many TV shows have like popped up over the last years that are basically just meant to appeal to people who are like 35 right now or like 40, and they're like, oh yeah, like when I was a kid, like, oh, this reminds me of that thing. But that guest on that podcast, he was talking about that, and he was saying that a lot of people want to play video games from like the early 2000s. But like, you know, there's like retro video game rental things where it's like, go play like a Pong or something, and they do it like that. But then there's people who like want to play things like CSGO or like Doom or, you know, League of Legends, or, you know, maybe something that's like a little bit closer to their childhood. These people who are now like sort of like, yeah, they're making some money, maybe they've got kids, they've got some disposable income. I want to play CSGO with all of my best friends at my 30th birthday party, you know, type thing. That could be an interesting angle there to, you know, sell it to adults and sort of break away from like children, basically.
Yeah, I think you can totally create like 2 tiers. One is like the basic box, and then other tier is like the luxury box.
Yeah, of course.
The luxury box has all the noise cancellation, and the cushions maybe are even like more ergonomic than the basic box. Yeah, you can totally like create a tiered base approach.
Yeah, that's a really good idea. I think someone should run with that.
All right, should we make a viral score rating system?
I think if it was out of 10, I'd give it a 7.
Okay, 7 Cash Me Outside girls out of 10.
Oh, that's perfect.
Yeah,
we can run with that.
All right, we'll edit it.
That's gonna bring us on to something I wanted to bring up. Don't think I ever shared this with you, but I actually shared this with Josh Willick, my business partner who's helping shoot this right now. So we actually shot a commercial, just as a background. We shot a really more of a documentary for Arc'teryx a couple months ago. And Arc'teryx, if you don't know, one of their main things is climbing. So what this kind of resulted in just me working on this project is, well, my algorithm was just feeding me lots of random climbing videos. So ultimately, one day I'm just scrolling through and I just saw this video on my feed. It was on YouTube Shorts, I think. And this guy, the opening shot, like all I'm going to talk about is the first second of the video. I'll go back and try and find this if I can, so I can show it to you viewers. But basically, first second of the video, it's just this guy on the side of a huge cliff. And you're just looking up at this guy and he's like climbing up this thing. And there's just a caption. It was something about like how he fell, basically. And, you know, effectively, like I just saw that and I was like instantly hooked. I had to watch the end of the video. I was like, I want to see this guy fall off of a cliff, whatever. But ultimately, he didn't even really fall. he slips a little bit. It's a total letdown video. He slips a little bit, and then like this thing like catches him because obviously he has good equipment, probably some Arc'teryx that that falls and whatever. But it really made me think that there's an opportunity there to do some type of hybrid between what brands are looking for right now on the video side. That's sort of a medium between traditional advertising, throwing it out on TV, whatever, and then like blending it with the UGC style. So basically make it something that looks like it's a video like that, where it's just a guy climbing up the side of a rock, basically. Yeah. And he just falls. Like that's just it. But the caption is like, oh, like I fell, basically. Yeah. And just record this guy falling, have him so high that it looks like this guy's like gonna die or something. Like this is crazy. And I think that what you have right there is an amazing thing to pitch to a climbing brand, or really just any type of climbing supply brand, for just showing a video that ultimately is going to hook people in to come in and say like, hey, I want to watch this thing. And then at the end, they're going to say like, oh, well, the guy didn't die. But,
just kidding.
Yeah, like basically, ultimately, we are just kidding. It is a little bit of a letdown, but it really does communicate the value of the product that they're selling in the end. And that kind of makes me think like what they did there, that could be applied to a climbing brand. Yep. But this is also sort of a framework that could be used for, completely different products, maybe services, where, you're hooking people in with a situation in the first second of a video where it's like you think you already know how it's going to play out. So there's going to be some type of payoff at the end of this video, right at the beginning.
The most immediate connection when you mention that to me is movie trailers. If it's like an action movie trailer, they'll do like the first 3 seconds or first 5 seconds with like an immediate climax of like an action sequence where it's just like, I don't know, Tom Cruise falling off of a plane or something. Right. And then they get into the actual trailer from the beginning where like that scene is probably in the last 10 seconds, right? I don't know if like it's called this, but like I'm going to call it starting with the climax.
Front loading is what I call it. Yeah.
So just like building up that hook with like what you presume is going to happen in the story, but then you just kind of actually want to find out how did we get here. It's like how the TV show Better Call Saul, where like you actually know where Saul Goodman is gonna eventually end up, but like you still want to find out how did he actually get there.
That's what keeps people hooked in watching all the way up until the very end. I think like that Better Call Saul is one of my favorite shows ever, and I don't think I've ever been more hooked into something because it was just like exactly what you're saying, like what's gonna happen, how did we get to the end. And I think like if you just watch, like I think Mr. Beast is a great example because that's a very data driven organization that is it's a $1 billion company run by a bunch of 20-year-olds, but they are actually kind of smart. And I know that they do a lot of, A/B testing, and they know what works versus what doesn't. They've engineered like the whole concept of like what is a viral video. And I think you'll notice in every single Mr. Beast video, as soon as you watch it, first 5 seconds, hey, what's up guys, in this video, this is gonna happen. And then like you will see it and you've seen the end of the video, and then, you'll go back in and you'll watch for 12 more minutes and, it gets you to the end. And probably the most successful TikToks, probably all of these things are really front-loaded videos. But I think that there's something deeper than just front-loading with action. And it's more so looking at it from the perspective of promising a certain payoff, because I don't think like in this video that I showed, like they didn't show the guy falling. They just made me think that like this guy's probably gonna fall because he's on a big cliff, a comically high cliff. Like it looks like this guy's gonna splat on the ground. I'm just like, no way that's gonna happen. Of course.
Now I'm just like thinking that if I were to think of a product example on like what that looks like, because we've been talking about content this entire time, doing a throwaway example of chocolates. I feel like if someone just started a chocolate brand saying, not that good chocolates, or like the best chocolates, I'm gonna try it at least once to see if like if it's actually not that good or if like it's the best. and then in the fine line it says, oh yeah, the best in Burlington, Ontario.
Or the worst.
Or yeah, it could be the worst chocolates. I might even try the worst chocolates.
Yeah.
Just to try what the worst chocolates taste like. And then I'm throughout this consumer journey, I'm gonna find out, okay, is it actually the worst? I don't know.
No, that's a good direction. I think you've kind of got like a bit of a Nathan for you thing going there. Like, yeah. I don't know if you should watch the pilot of it if you haven't, but he basically goes into a yogurt shop and they sell poop flavored frozen yogurt. And yeah, they're like, I mean, maybe they faked it for the show, but they had lineups the next day for like everyone being like, man, I gotta see what's going on with this poop flavored yogurt. Anyways, I feel like we've sort of beat this idea to death. What did you have cooking up next?
Okay, next up, the shopping channel network, but on social.
Okay, like infomercials.
Yeah, you know those like super long infomercial channels like the shopping channel or like QVC? Mm-hmm. It's kind of like amazing to me how like that entire format of just like long form product infomercials, I don't know, ShamWow, where like they were just like replaying those 10-minute segments on repeat for like 30 minutes.
Yeah.
And then I remember just like being so captivated as a kid watching the shopping channel.
Yeah, the ShamWow is a good one. That's an inherently like viral product, I feel like. You know, just watching it soak up the liquid.
And it's been like over a decade and I still remember ShamWow as a brand. It's interesting to me how like that entire virality of a content, which today performs so well on social, but like I can't really think of like an immediate content or brand or social media handle that really are making content just like the shopping channel or QVC, but like on TikTok, Reels or YouTube Shorts or anything like that. The closest thing though, I do think was VAT19.
VAT19, I haven't heard of
VAT19. So I remember they started up, it must have been around 10 years ago, where they started this YouTube channel, create those infomercial style commercials, but like for the products that they carry or distribute on their e-commerce website. Mm-hmm. And I think they went viral from their product, the largest gummy bear in the world or something like that, or like 7 feet long gummy worm.
Yeah.
So
I feel like I've probably seen those videos. Yeah, totally.
Yeah, they made a bunch of other product videos that they just carry. Some of them are just like random gift, toy kind of products. But yeah, other than just VAT19, I'm not sure how well they're doing right now, but it's surprising to me.
A couple other ones come to my mind. Tell me, I'll just name them. The Flex Tape. I feel like they might be doing something like this. Or do you remember that one YouTube channel that was called Will It Blend? And it was some blender company. Yep. And they were just like blending random stuff. Whatever. Yeah. As a kid, I probably watched like every single video. Like I probably have actually spent hours in my childhood watching that. And I will always remember those videos. Just like, we were talking about like the ShamWow. I mean, I feel like anybody who's seen any ShamWow content, like even once, remembers ShamWow or like the Slap Chop. You know, all of these, they really have some type of magic there, but like...
Or H2O mop. I still remember H2O mop. It's this like steamer mop to clean your floor with like the steam's high heat. Apparently that just gets the dirt off.
Interesting.
Yeah, but like just with those demonstrations, when they create these like long form content, I feel like a lot of those content could be translatable to social. And some of these infomercial products are totally pointless, becomes viral anyways on social, like the bologna folder. Have you seen the bologna folder?
Wait, I've seen that, but I thought that was fake. Like I assumed it was like an SNL thing or something.
My guess is, without doing any research, my guess is that was a product on QVC.
The bologna folder. Look that.
Yeah.
Look that up.
Someone correct us if
Let me know if that's real or not, please.
Yeah.
Because I'm gonna be horrified if it is.
If it's real, everyone hashtag baloney folder. To me, like to create this like shopping network on social, the easiest thing is really just create like a content agency to create like a bunch of these like shopping category Instagram accounts to me. Because you know how like Fuck Jerry has the whole entire Instagram meme gang?
Yeah.
It's a whole entire network of like these meme accounts. Someone should just create that, but like for shopping. And then with Instagram shopping and TikTok shop being like a fully rolled out thing between the US and Canada, it's just like the immediate natural thing.
This kind of reminds me of the whole booming world of live shopping right now, which I think like in Asia definitely more popular, but it's becoming a thing like of like that's happening here where it'll be live streaming. I think like just from their phones they have influencers go into stores and they literally just film themselves, you know, interacting with the products and like seeing it, and people have the ability to buy them live, you know, while that's happening.
Yeah.
And apparently these things are just killing it. Like, you know, there's lots of companies are popping up doing this. They're all having their own little spin on it and all of that. They're focused on the live audience. So that really makes me wonder like if there's a gap in the market for just people doing this from, you know, just from a social media perspective, where it's just, you know, network of exactly what you're saying, shopping accounts. That's a really good one.
Yeah,
I like
that. Was like actually a second idea within this category that I had, where it's just like, okay, if you don't want to make meme accounts or these shopping channel accounts, you can create a shopping hosts talent agency where they're just really personable and they act like a Billy Mays or a Vince from ShamWow that just does really great product demos and then can just like talk out of your ears off. Yeah, I mean like that's like a whole entire talent that like I feel like if you create this talent agency, you're gonna just like get a bunch of phone calls at these trade shows or even just like creating these like live product demo social content.
Yeah, that's a really good one. I like that one. I think somebody should go do that one.
Or they should call us.
Yeah.
And I will charge royalties.
You heard that here first.
Yeah. What do you have?
So I actually thought of this one this morning because I was just like, man, like what's an idea that I had a really long time ago that's like so deep in my brain? Like, you know, there's got to be something there. And I thought back to I was at Nuit Blanche. You ever go to?
Yeah. One year I actually did some photos.
Yeah.
At Nuit Blanche.
Oh, cool. For viewers who don't know what Nuit Blanche is, it's an art show that's outdoors in Toronto, and it runs all night. It's really popular. Hundreds of thousands of people go to it. I might be lying about that, but I'm pretty sure there's got to be at least like 100,000 people going to it.
Yeah, there's road closures involved, and
it shuts down the city. They change the subway schedule. It's a big deal. Anyways, it's not just some like low-key art festival. Just bear that in mind while I tell the story. So I was right by City Hall, which is where they typically put like the craziest art exhibits, and also where you'll probably find the highest concentration of crowds. And what I noticed that was projected onto the Sheraton Hotel, like on the side of it, it's just all concrete. There's no windows. Just written in a very kind of primitive looking laser. I'm gonna see if I can find a photo to share. But it was basically written in lasers. It said theylied.ca. And I don't know, like, have you heard of theylied.ca? You haven't?
No, I'm assuming someone lied.
Yeah, basically, it's a political movement, basically targeting government officials for things that happened during COVID lockdowns in Canada. Whole can of worms, not going to get into that. But what I was really noticing was that everybody around me was taking pictures of this laser projected thing that was on the side of this building. Obviously, they had no permission to do this. There's no way. they were allowed to do this, but they just wrote on the side of the building. There were, I'm telling you, there were thousands of people taking pictures of this sign, and this had to have had like a genuine, real impact on their brand, and you know that probably helped them get their message out there for better or for worse. And that just made me think like, well, they probably did this because this is some low-key organization that's probably kind of bootstrapped, and the owner probably like scrounged some money together and was like, yeah, we got to get this message up there. Like they did it because they were passionate, which also means that it probably wasn't like crazy expensive to do. So it kind of makes me wonder if there's sort of an opportunity for a new type of agency, that a guerrilla marketing agency that basically delivers that, but for businesses, and you know, but in a guerrilla way. It probably wouldn't work with larger brands where like you've got to get clearance from this person and that person. But again, sort of going back to like e-commerce, there's a lot of random e-commerce businesses on the internet that are down to do crazy things and just say, hey, we'll project your website on the side of the thing, or we'll put a message that really gets people going. Like saying they lied.ca, people immediately are going to want to know, well, who lied? Why did they lie? What did they lie about? They're going to check the website. So there's definitely something there as well. It's not all the magic of the laser, but it's very interesting. I looked into it. I started looking on the internet. I found out what tool they were probably using. It costs like $1,500. You order it from somewhere in like Eastern Europe, I think. Yeah. And yeah, you can just get these things, and you could do that for $1,000. I can think of a lot of potential businesses that would make a lot more than $1,500 on a campaign like that. So it makes me wonder if there's an agency opportunity there that someone could start without needing like really that much capital to, you know, to get it started. What do you think of that?
Yeah, I think like if someone were to do this at scale, I would probably compete against one of the billboard companies like Pattison or Astral. I would create a website and create a network of these and chat with the commercial building owners to say, hey, is it cool if we just like set up these time with you for us to create these like digital projections? And then we don't need to like set anything up. We don't need to do any building clearance. All we're doing is really just projecting light to the side of your building sometimes.
And pull up with a car.
Yeah.
It's just, that's probably what they did. It was probably on the roof of a car, just flashed on there.
And then I would probably just like make a network of these and then sell it as a media agency to compete against the billboard people. Because one of the other ideas from like one of those podcasts is murals. Just like when people do branded murals, it takes a decent bit of time to set it up. And then when they set it up, people usually stop by, or like your pedestrian traffic usually stop by to actually look at what's going on. And then that gets your brand awareness. That's the interesting thing about like murals when they create these on buildings. But like even with like laser projectors.
The laser, I'm actually, you're on, the murals idea is great, but I was actually going to say that murals is its own thing that would actually cost a bit more to set up because you would have to get a 3D scan of the building. So we would actually have to talk to probably Object Studio or something, ask them to borrow one of their scanners to scan the side of a building, because you have to do that, and then you have to put this 3D model of the building into a software, and then you map out the light, and then you need like 3 projectors. But it's not these laser projectors that I've, these random, I don't know who makes these, from somewhere in Europe, but they're so cheap. But if you want like a normal projector that will just shine like an image on a building rather than like laser lines, it's like, now you go.
To me, like
you gotta spend like 10,000.
To me, like laser lights, is actually more interesting to look at because like if it resembles anything like a laser show at night, and people are just like out, and then they might actually want to take a picture, going like, oh, what is theylie.ca, or like what is bigambitiousburgers.com.
Yeah, and the tool also, it's I'm pretty sure it has a companion app and it's very like user, like you just draw on it and then it draws. You don't have to map out anything. So it's kind of like almost like if there was like a Canva for a projection mapping agency, which is like already a thing that exists. Like I'm sure there's plenty of people in Toronto and all over the world who have projection mapping companies. But this is a sort of like very low barrier to entry where, you know, again, like having sort of a fragmented, you know, network of it would be better because it is sort of a bit of like an Uber type idea where I honestly don't know like what the legality of all of this would be, but I feel like there's nothing stopping you. Yeah. And competing with the billboard companies, you could get pretty crazy there because what's stopping you from shining your light on their billboards?
Exactly. That's gonna be an interesting award-winning out-of-home idea for one of the agencies out there.
Yeah.
If we feel like
if you were at a Big Five marketing agency and any one of you guys do this idea, we're suing.
Only if it's convenient to us. If it's not convenient to us, then we won't pursue any lawsuits.
Yeah, if it's like a lot of work.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
That's a good idea. I think that's a good one. Someone should run with that.
Oh yeah, we're doing viral rating systems. I don't think we did the viral rating system for the last two.
We're working out the kinks
Yeah.
behind the scenes. We're figuring it out. Yeah, we'll figure out a good rating system. Anyways, I think you had an idea about charities. I think that's interesting because I know that
Yes.
you work with a lot of charities. I work with charities as well. The reason why we met because we were talking about a charity RFP. So you have this last idea on the list. It's about charities. Like I'm pretty interested in hearing what you have to say.
So this one is called Fun and Sexy Charity Fundraisers.
Okay.
So what comes to mind when you think about these charity fundraisers in general? It's usually a lot of depressing vibes.
Can be a little depressing at those
Yeah.
things sometimes.
Even like when you look at food drives in these grocery stores, you're just putting stuff inside a giant bin.
Yeah,
there's not
like
much
what is
effort.
that at the grocery store? That's crazy. I mean, have you ever put things into those grocery store bin things? I've always felt like it has
Never.
to be a scam, right? It's like there's no way that food, like there's some catch. I know that Loblaws is not doing something right there. Like it just, there has to be a catch. I don't know.
Whenever I think of these like charity fundraisers, it's really just like these traditional old-fashioned type of efforts that's really just like here's a cultural problem, so if you want to fix this problem, come donate to us. Or like, oh yeah, help fix the hunger in the area, come donate your non-perishable foods at the food drives. But like in the end, it's not really addressing to these like core issues to operate these charity organizations, because in the end of the day, they need like monetary donations in order to actually pursue their programs, to actually either implement capital into infrastructure or like create these program efforts that can help solve the problem. When I think of these like just using food banks as an example, one of the insights is that they have these off-peak seasons where people aren't donating as much food or money in general, for example, in the summer. And to me, one of the best ways to disrupt this food drive space is really just like make interesting events that just instead of just like donating food, make it a bin to just donate foods. Like so many people are doing things outside and they will pay for activities to do. Like families will actually pay to go to a park in the woods to go camping or like just take a hike. Well, there are also these free kind of like tennis courts or now pickleball courts. You could theoretically create a agency that just helps, or like it could be any events agency, any or like expert that's just used to finding places. We went to Markham's Unionville Festival at one time, and they just had a setup at the parking lot for us to play pickleball. In the city, if we just like have any not garage but like parking lot, to get the parking lot owner to donate that day for us to do something interesting, I'm sure like the property owner might like be interested, or like the landlord might be interested in doing like an interesting food drive driven event that's just like pickleball.
No, I see something there. And pickleball is obviously a pretty low barrier to entry sport. I don't know if that's like something that's a sport that you're really like keeping your eye on, but you know, I'm pretty sure the like setting up a whole like pickleball court like with rackets and everything is probably less than a few $100s to, you know, like really put that all together there. Yeah, that's a pretty interesting angle there. I wonder where does the virality come into all of this though?
I think the virality is really just like within the community themselves, where you're kind of latching on to a local issue and then creating these like localized events that are addressing these local issues specifically. Because I remember there was this development firm that was sitting on these plane hangars.
Okay.
Usually they just like sit on it and then nothing is going on because it might just get turned into a condo one day, or like someone might buy it from them as an investment. Sometimes they do these like community driven programs that are like movie nights inside the plane hangar.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow, that's crazy.
I remember like one time they even had like a ice rink inside the hangar for you to literally ice skate within that area. As a community driven effort, anything that's just like fun and interesting, like a community movie night or like rollerblading effort, you might just like generate a bunch of like community driven revenue within that like just activity. Meanwhile, like no one else is really just like donating money to the grocery stores that are trying to do these food drives.
Well, because everyone knows now that, like, I think when the general public started kind of realizing that it's all for tax write-offs, I think people started saying no at the grocery store. Like, yeah, I think I'll donate myself. Thank you. Yeah. That's really interesting though. And, you know, with those events, like, you don't really always need to have anything capital up front for them, because, you know, like, okay, pickleball, that's cool, that's a cheap idea and you could definitely generate a good like thing for a charity there. But for somebody who's maybe wanting to run with this idea and they want to start it out on like the smallest level of scale, where like they don't even have like $10 to like spend on this thing maybe, then what I would do is I would look at the example. There's somebody in Toronto who does tours of old malls, and they basically call it like liminal space tours. And they charge pretty standard pricing, like for if you go on Eventbrite and there's some outdoor community thing, like sometimes there's like photography walks and stuff like that. $20 is a pretty normal price range for something like this. And this guy, he started out doing tours of malls and things like that. What this has now become is he takes people on school bus tours, and literally like 50 people go to random malls around the GTA with him just to look at them and be like, wow, look at how run down this mall is, basically. I mean, there is an artistic and creative angle to it, but I mean, ultimately, that is what it is. And I think that's just such a great concept, what they did there. I'm not saying someone should take that idea and go with that, but there's a framework there for just like, hey, how can you put on an event that actually does give value to people and they find it interesting? I think having a whole charity angle is just going to make things easier for people in general, for just like, yeah, I'll spend $20 on that thing that gives me nothing. You know? I don't take home anything, or it's a photo walk. You take photos, you take home what you have on your camera, basically.
To me, it's like, am I really gonna pay like the ticket for Canada's Wonderland, or like would I rather just like stay within my neighborhood and then do this like either pickleball or like whatever fun event that has like within my local community that is also for a local cause.
Yeah, no, 100%. Maybe people who are listening to this right now, there's a lot of people that do just put on events in their community like that. I know someone who does beach volleyball down the street from me. They haven't like taken any angle from this. They don't charge anybody for it. You just get a calendar link and then you just go to it. People like this, I mean, they might be interested in just like, hey, it would be cool if this was like also a charity thing and people come in and it's like, oh yeah, paying $10 and then, there's something happening for charity there.
I think like this entire theme is a great facilitator can make mundane things interesting. Like whether if it's like an events organizer or like the liminal tours guy.
Yeah, he must be amazing. I haven't been on any of the tours, but if people are coming on buses now, like he's good. He's obviously good at what he does. No, that's very true. Yeah, you need that is a pretty critical thing. You need a good facilitator. You need somebody who's just going to be good at engaging everybody in the event. But yeah, there's definitely something there. That's a pretty good one. I'm going to rate that one on the thumbs up metric.
Okay.
Right there. Yeah.
Yeah. As long as not a
one thumbs
down.
Up.
All right, I think that's it. That's all our ideas.
That's it, huh?
I don't know if there was a theme to any of these ideas or not.
No.
But like
pretty
these were pretty much like the interesting thoughts that we have on our minds, at least like this month or this week.
A little bit. I mean, one of my ideas, that Nuit Blanche idea, that was probably like 2 years ago now. But yeah, we will definitely be having plenty more ideas in the next episode. I would say we could probably be, if we just had the budget to be filming it, we could probably be shooting an episode a day.
Yeah.
But we're just gonna keep it to like one a week or something like that.
Yeah.
So yeah. Anyways, I guess I should leave you guys with a call to action. I would say check me out on LinkedIn and also visit 104 Pictures website. We recently did some really cool work there and we're posting about it, so follow it. If you want to talk about any of these ideas or you're actually thinking about, hey, I might want to run with one of these, send me a DM. Or if it was Runda's idea, of course, send him a DM.
Yeah, and then I will invest. I will invest if like our thoughts are aligned. Otherwise, I will sue you if it's convenient to me.
Yes, and I will sue if you're a Big Five agency. Yeah.
All right, follow us on Instagram and connect with us on LinkedIn, and hopefully we'll tune in more later.
Thanks for watching.
The Viral Ideas Podcast.